For some reason, Hamblin County keeps getting loud booms at all hours of the day.
It felt like a tree falling beside the house. It was just like something fell, hit the ground, boom, and it shook.
The latest happening at 7:30 Tuesday morning.
Yeah, just out of the blue.
Just as Bill Warren was waking up.
All of a sudden we heard a loud boom. I mean, it was a strong boom. It shook the whole house.
Inez Wolf heard it at the same time.
Real loud boom. Occasionally it shook the house.
And the crazy thing is, no one has a clue as to why it's happening or where it's coming from.
We begin with that breaking news in Irving. Another earthquake rattled the city this morning. The latest one happened just about an hour ago.
And it makes 11 quakes in just about the past 24 hours. Irving police say they have got hundreds of 911 calls from scared residents. They've also had reports of damaged homes and cracked walls.
Yeah, and Deborah and Eric, you'll remember 2 days ago I did the story where the SMU seismologist, he was coming here to install a new seismograph to better understand what is happening with all these earthquakes. Since he installed the seismograph right here, there have been 11 earthquakes, and he is studying the data right now, and he is scheduled to make a full presentation before Irving City Council next week. You guys know that will be a very anticipated presentation because a lot of people are scared and they want to know if their homes are still safe. Back to you.
Yeah, Jeff, that's the thing. People are wanting answers right now, and it's difficult for people to accept that you just have to wait for all this to play out.
Yeah, I think interesting to point out also, Dallas City Council meets on Wednesday mornings.
Right.
NBC5's Ken Kaltoff is there at City Hall right now and tweeted about an hour ago that Mayor Mike Rawlings has announced an earthquake readiness plan with Irving to prepare in case these earthquakes get worse, because they're being felt not just in Irving, but we're hearing from other parts of the Metroplex as well.
And the Dallas high-rises, a lot of people concerned in those, especially yesterday.
All right, new at noon, word of a possible earthquake here in Connecticut at about 9:30 this morning. About 50 people in Plainfield called 911 saying they heard a loud explosion, felt the ground shaking. At this point, the U.S. Geological Service has not confirmed that it was actually an earthquake, and local officials are ruling out blasting activity.
There are more questions than answers about a boom so many of you heard across Oklahoma today. Listen to this. People reported hearing this from Edmond, Norman, even Shawnee. But some experts are just baffled about what it could be. KOCO's Bree Stephan has
crabs littered, and in the bizarre phenomena of creatures raining down or washing up on shore has mystified scientists.
The video you're about to see is not a gravel road. Those are the dead fish.
This that was taken recently was in Rio de Janeiro, I believe, or Santa Cruz, America. I'm not exactly sure what's happening, but all over the world things are changing. We're talking happening, but all over the world things are changing. We're talking about what's happening, but all over the world things are changing. We're talking about environmentally, the weather-related changes may have an effect. Look at all these dead animals, these dead fish. This is in Bolivia, South America. Alligators dead everywhere. Whatever was dead everywhere. Alligators dead everywhere. Alligators dead everywhere. Whatever was in the water is coming up dead. This is happening all over the place. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in South America. What is going on? What is going on?
Gleichen Wurzeln, die nach Arabien. Der Sieg des Islam wenige Jahrzehnte später bedeutet für sie Befreiung von Byzanz. Christen, Muslime und Juden haben die gleichen Wurzeln. Befreie Byzanz. Christen, Muslime und Juden haben die gleichen Wurzeln. Christen, Muslime und Juden haben die gleichen Wurzeln.
Footage of other things happening in the Middle East on some of the beaches where there's just millions and millions of seashells that are just washing up the dead. Some of the beaches where there's just millions and millions of seashells that are just washing up the dead animals that live within the shells, or somehow just washing up on shore. All you see is an ocean of just dead.
200 dead cows in Wisconsin and 7,000 dead buffalo in Vietnam. What is happening?
I think the media is, by and large, not blowing it out of proportion. They're actually underestimating how serious it is.
We first called a 911. Bree?
Well, calls flooded here into the dispatch center here at the Norman Police Department from people all over the area saying that they heard a loud boom and felt massive vibrations. Now tonight, many people are wondering, what exactly was that?
I'm calling because we're hearing continuous sounds like explosions.
Anthony Young was just one of many who called Norman Police when mysterious booms rattled his home Thursday morning.
We thought some nut was out here, you know, with explosives.
Calls flooded in from all over Oklahoma, like
Ich bin im 9. Stock in einem Hochhaus in Wedding, weil wir auf der Suche nach der Quelle eines Knalls sind. Denn seit einigen Monaten hören die Bewohner des Viertels einen mysteriösen Knall und können nicht sagen, wo er herkommt. Und wir sind hier mit einem Diplom-Ingenieur, der jetzt extrem kompliziert aussehende Geräte aufbaut, mit denen er die Quelle genau bestimmen kann.
alligators dead everywhere. Whatever was in the water is coming up dead. This is happening all over the place. It's happening in the United States. It's happening in South America. What is going on? I've got footage of other things happening in the Middle East on some of the beaches where there's just millions and millions of seashells that are just washing up. The dead animals that live within the shells or somehow.
And Shawnee. Everyone had the same question.
We're hearing loud explosions. My house is shaking. The horses are freaking out. Does anybody know what's going on? Explosions. My house is shaking. The horses are freaking out. Explosions. My house is shaking. The horses are freaking out. Does anybody know what's going on?
Anthony said the boom shook his house so hard his windows rattled.
It sounded like thunder, but like I said, you could feel the ground shake, and it was nothing like an earthquake. You know, we felt the earthquakes before, and it's nothing like that.
It's not thunder or rock blasting or even fireworks, so what is it? Mysterious, unexplained booms rocking parts of North Georgia. Fox 5's Denise Dillon joining us now live in Kennesaw, searching.
Clock, an ominous symbol of apparent dangers facing the world, is now 2 minutes closer to doom. It's now at 11:57.
That's according to a group of prominent atomic scientists. They look at worldwide perils, specifically nuclear threats and climate change. Basically, the closer to midnight, the closer the world is to destruction.
Based on their observations, the members of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists Science and Security Board find conditions in the world to be so threatening that they are moving the hands of the doomsday clock 2 minutes closer to midnight. It is now 3 minutes to midnight. Today, unchecked climate change and a nuclear arms race resulting from modernization of huge arsenals pose extraordinary and undeniable threats to the continued existence of humanity. And world leaders have failed to act with the speed or on the scale required to protect citizens from potential catastrophe. We can manage our technology or become victims of it. The choice is ours, and the clock is ticking. But as long as the clock is ticking, and the clock is ticking, and the clock is ticking. But as long
Denise, I heard them myself this weekend in the downtown area. I even tweeted about them to see if anybody else heard them. I understand you've been hearing them too.
Yeah, I heard it too. The one I heard was just one loud, singular boom. And I wasn't the only one, obviously. You, me, and lots of folks here in Kennesaw. Last night, it was a night just like tonight, damp, dreary, and it was right around 6 p.m. when people started reporting they were hearing that first big boom. And no one seems to know where it's coming from.
A pretty loud boom.
A boom loud enough to shake the house and scare the kids.
The house was definitely, it shook. We didn't know, what it was. But my kids were so upset and they ran in. They're like, Mommy, Mommy, what's wrong?
Folks in Kennesaw say they heard the first boom around 6 Sunday night, then several others until about 9:30.
5 fireworks all exploding at once.
transformer that blew.
While there is a train that runs through town, no one believes that was it.
It was a pretty loud boom, so it wasn't just a couple of trains clanking together.
We checked with the Telescience Museum to see if they had any reports of meteorites or even earthquakes. sound travels differently in the winter, and it could have been anything from a sonic boom to distant thunder. But Fox 5 meteorologist Jeff Hill says there was no thunder or lightning in the area.
I think we can rule out lightning because, looking at the radar and going back through Sunday,